My name is Tom Lomsdalen. I'm the CEO at Rinco, and I'm here at the Etteplan booth to demonstrate the WATS product. The WATS product is for automatically collect test data from your manufacturing processes. Our customers have multiple test stations, ATEs, located in different manufacturing sites. And when you're testing your products during manufacturing, you generate a lot of test data. So the whole purpose of WATS is to automatically collect all this test data in real time and collect them into one central site or server. In this case, we are using the cloud version of WATS, which is skywats.com. So in real time, we collect test data from all the ATEs, and then we analyze this data and give you actionable feedback as to the quality of the products you're manufacturing. For instance, you can look at what is the first pass yield of the product we're testing in real time. And then you can make dashboards of this to have it on screens to automatically show you quality data. So very quickly you can identify issues in manufacturing and quickly identify if you have products that have a poor first pass yield or a second pass yield, and then quickly drill down to understand what is causing that poor yield. So typically which test step is causing poor yield, and then drill further into the analysis and look at the measurement data, the measured data from the test process. And then you can trend this measurement to see if they are close to one of the upper or lower limits, or if there are certain outbounds that is causing the poor yield. And by doing this, you can quickly evaluate if there's an action you need to take in order to improve this process. WATS will also allow you to add repair data, information about the unit that is failing into WATS. So it means that from the test report you have a symptom of failure, and the next step will be to understand why it's failing. So if it's a component problem or a process problem, that's a purely manufacturing issue. But if it's a test setup, an operator, or even the firmware version of your product, it might be information you want to feed back to your R&D to look into the design of the product. So in this view, we see we get an overview of all the tested products. So this view is called product and test yield. By applying a filter, you will get a list of the part numbers that have been tested for what revision, in what process, and the total amount of unique units tested, and the yield calculation. So in this case, it's showing the first pass yield. So this is a drill down from the previous page where we saw the first pass yield. So this report, the test step yield and analysis, will list the top 10 failed steps. So describing very quickly which step is failing, causing the poor yield. And in this case, we can see that the 3 most failing steps represents almost 90% of all the failures. So if you can address these issues, you will theoretically increase your first pass yield by 90%. And then from this view, we can drill further into the test step. So we have the list of test steps here. And if there are a numerical limit test, you can drill into the trend analysis. In this case, we see a test step over time for many different units. And the red lines here are the test limits. And we can see clearly that there are issues in manufacturing because these measurements are clearly outside of the normal distribution. But they are not failing the unit because the limits are too wide. So we also calculate the plus minus 3 standard deviation as a suggestion of new test limits. Okay, so you can also get this data through the WATS app. So the WATS mobile app is available both for iPhone, iOS, and Android devices. And with this app, you can very quickly get an overview of the same data from the manufacturing processes. So the starter view will allow me to look at the yields and the manufacturing volumes for the last 24 hours, 7 days, or 30 days. And at the top, we will show the trend for the total amount of tested units compared to the yields. And in the list below, we will list the part numbers tested in what process and the number of unique units tested. And as an example, looking at this part number tested in the PCBA test, the first pass yield is 89%, which is in itself is not that good, but it's also dropping 5.1 percent points compared to the last period. And at the bottom you have a list of the worst or the poorest first pass yield numbers. In addition to that, you can quickly select different levels, so you can look at data from one manufacturing site or from one manufacturing cell. So you define this list of levels in your SkyWATS account. And also looking at or searching for a certain unit. So by adding a filter with serial number, the app will show the history of this unit and allow you to drill into the actual test report and see all the measurements and where it failed in the test.